Sports talking right here on SWKS Radio. I'm Cray.
I'm Phil.
Phil, it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Another week of sports is done with.
Yeah. Even though we had the Olympics, it does seem kind of like a lull in the sports world.
Definitely.
We got college basketball kind of becoming the forefront. I guess the Olympics are maybe taking some of that.
Yeah.
Would I be right?
I would say you're right. I would say more than anything, I think the Olympics this year has been fun just because of how weird it's been. You know, there's a different headline that's popping up every day where you read it and you go, I don't know if that's real. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it so fun.
A lot of tragedy, it seems like, in this year's Winter Olympics.
Injuries.
Yeah. That's what I meant
definitely.
by tragedy.
Yeah.
Lots of injuries.
And it's terrible, too, because 4 years. By that time,
you
know, like Lindsey Vonn came out of retirement and messed her leg up. And
train all your life, and then it's over in a freak accident or whatever you want. Because I think somebody else got injured in one of the bobsleds or something like that, where maybe Team USA wiped out. Mm-hmm. Something like that.
It was something like that. But, again, I've been paying attention only to college basketball. That's where my mind has completely been, is college basketball. And
I should have brought a pillow. For this part.
Because why? You hate college basketball that much? Come on. It's not that bad.
Okay. If you say so.
But it might be. I mean, listen, Darryn Peterson, the number one player in America. I know you're sitting there, you're shaking your head, but Phil, it's true. He is the best basketball player to ever put on a KU uniform talent-wise. Now, why is he not playing? That's besides me. At this point, I don't know. He's missed 11 games. He's pulled himself out of games. We saw him. There was that viral video the other day of Kansas taking on Oklahoma State. He knocks down a three. He turns to the bench, looks at himself, and points at himself saying, I'm done. And he never came back to the game. And from my thought process on that is, why? Shouldn't the competitor in you want to play as much basketball as you can? Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Well, let me ask you a question. What came out of the post game?
I mean, you heard Bill Self talk in the post game and said, I thought he was all ready to go. I thought he was healthy. I thought he was going to be back to playing 30 minutes, which he hasn't done a lot of this entire year.
So does that mean Self himself sounds like he's maybe frustrated as much as anyone?
I definitely think he's frustrated.
Yeah.
And I think it's well past due that he is frustrated. He's had a lot of patience with Darryn Peterson. Again, missing 11 games. He's only played 6 games over 30 minutes. And if you're the best player in the nation, you should probably be on the court every single second you can be.
Yeah, well, you and I don't agree. You think he's the best player in the nation. I think he's not, just because of his lack of availability. To me, he's a bad teammate. If I'm on a team and I've got a player who's a great contributor, we could win with that player and probably lose without that player, and that player refuses to play, not because of an injury, but because of whatever's up here in his head. To me, that's a bad player. That's a bad teammate. And I don't want that teammate. There has to be disruptions in the locker room. Imagine getting on the plane flying home. Or did they walk? They walked to Iowa State, didn't they?
No.
You sure they didn't? Without a sandwich. They didn't even get a sandwich before that game because those guys were not ready to play Iowa State.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, in all honesty. And, Phil, the thing is you're right. There's got to be some distraction, and his teammates have got to probably call him out in the locker room. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. If I was his teammate and I knew how much he was getting paid, because it's public knowledge to an extent how much money these guys are getting paid in NIL, just for him to go into a game, play 18 minutes, pull himself out, and then you're without your best player, the one that you've been practicing with and know how to play with, and then you're down a guy. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating.
Do the NIL contracts have any stipulations as far as you have to play 15 minutes, 15%, 20%, 30%, and none of that?
As far as I know, no.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's going to be something
that's
going to be. And these aren't going to be NIL things anymore. This is going to be a contract negotiation from here on out. And that's the problem with college sports. And we've gone on and on about that and how unfair it is, how dumb it is. Mm-hmm. And we agree on that. But Darryn Peterson has the opportunity to ruin this for everybody.
I agree.
Going forward. Because, listen, if you're an athlete, you love NIL. If you're a regular person, you're probably feel indifferent about NIL, but for future athletes that might go in there, might get hurt, they might not be guaranteed that NIL money anymore because of Darryn Peterson's actions.
Right.
And it's frustrating to see from a fan's perspective because you want to watch the best players in the world play basketball. That's why you go.
I don't.
Why not?
I'm just not really a big basketball fan.
Well, who cares? Who cares?
Playoff hockey, I'm all in.
I love it, too. Yeah, playoff hockey is great.
Playoff hockey, I'm all in. Horse racing, I'm all in.
Yeah, but imagine if Patrick Mahomes was just like, that was a rough second quarter.
Exactly.
Let's throw in Gardner Minshew.
The point is like, come on, dude, or not. So he's not a great teammate. He might be a great pickup player, beat everybody at horse or whatever, one-on-one or first one to 20.
I get what you're saying, but me and you got into an argument the other day in the hallway where you said,
I won just for everybody's.
You've never won.
I won.
You've never won an argument with me.
Even Stacy came up to me and said, you won.
No, she was lying. It was a confidence booster.
Oh, okay. Well.
But you said this is a Bill Self problem, and you think this is something Bill Self needs to address, and he should have never picked him up in the first place. And quite honestly, I disagree.
I know.
You got to bring in the number one player in America, no matter what. You probably didn't expect this kind of outcome from bringing in the number one player in America. However, I don't think it's Bill Self's fault. He's probably getting a lot of feedback from his parents, from his agent, and this is a guy that is probably going to make $30 million to $40 million next year being the number one overall pick in the NBA draft.
And how does that help the University of Kansas and Bill Self?
It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. But, Phil, my argument to this would be, if you hired an on-air guy, you're the GM of our radio station. You hired an on-air guy to come in and run an afternoon show. And every time he didn't show up, you had to cover that show. But he generated $500,000 a year, and he was here 3 days out of the 5 a week. You would find a way to make that work.
We'd let him go.
You would find a way to make it work.
We'd let him go.
That's not true.
Because everybody else would quit working. So now you got one person that's going to have to do everything. And he's only here 3 days a week. I say that person is only here 3 days a week. That's the point. It's got to be ruffling feathers down the line. It's probably, let me give you another example. What about the other sports, the D1 swimmers that are in the pool at 5 a.m. doing their gig, or the volleyball players, or the softball players, or the baseball players, or any of the other sports, the track and field participants? You don't call them track and field players.
No, yeah, you call them participants. I think that's a good call.
See, isn't it weird that we have different words? Yeah. We have different words like you play baseball, and you play basketball, and you play football, but it's a game, but it's a hockey match or a soccer match. It's not a game.
Yeah,
isn't that weird?
I mean, track and field, the way I look at it is you're competing yourself against other people. It's not a team sport.
Oh, it's a great team sport.
It's not a team sport.
Come on already, Craig. You get 10 points when you take first. 10 points if you place first in the event, that goes to the team. Total.
Right.
And then I think it drops to 8, and then it goes all the way down to 6 for third. I mean, it really gets small as you go down. I think sixth place gets 2 points.
Yeah.
So first place is a big deal. But if you place it all, you get points for the team. And years ago, I brought up Nolan Cromwell on a few conversations we had. That year, the track team at Kansas finished number 2 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a few great athletes, actually a few more than that.
You're right. But, I mean, you get the best wrestler in the world on a bad team. Would you consider wrestling a solo sport?
It's also a great team sport. One of the best.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. One of the best events to watch, and I wish they would go to this in the format of the NCAA tournament, but it's a team. They're called team duels.
Mm-hmm.
And so and it's a dual tournament. So you win, you play. Again, we're back to play. You don't play wrestling. It's a wrestling match.
Right.
Rather than a game. It's just weird what we have. And when you say I'm wrong, it's just like, you don't know anything about the sport. They don't play wrestling or they don't play track.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, no, team is very valuable. I mean, the University of Iowa has the most records for NCAA national titles. Oklahoma State is the king of national titles in that sport. Mm-hmm. They have won the national championship 35 times.
Yeah.
Now Penn State's dominating wrestling.
Right.
Okay, we totally swerved off the track here about Darryn Peterson.
Yeah, we definitely
Sorry.
did.
My fault.
Let's get back on track. I mean, yeah, but I don't understand how you can just sit here and say, it's Coach Self's fault and he should just kick him off the team.
I'm not necessarily saying Coach Self's fault for recruiting the guy. However, don't you do the background checks? We talked about this, Shadur Sanders and all the dust up when he left Colorado to go into the pros. Why didn't he get drafted first? And it was about the what we heard was his attitude was bad. His work ethic wasn't great. I don't know the guy, so I can't judge any of that. I just know he played football at D1, and Colorado was a marginal team. They were, 11 and 12?
That's a nice way to put it, yeah.
11 and 12 in his leadership or when he was quarterback there? So they definitely weren't national champion contenders.
No.
To me, the guy who plays for the best I think the guy who won it this year from
Mendoza.
Indiana, I think that was a deserving award because he did lead the best team, and he was probably the most instrumental player, offensively at least, on that team.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So to say, is it Self's fault? I don't want to say it's his fault, but should he have done a little more due diligence in the interviewing process? What did he have this problem as a high school kid?
No.
So he played every game, sweat through everything, cramps he played, twisted ankle he played.
I can't say that with 100% certainty.
Right.
No.
So that's my question is, did he have these tendencies as a high school player or person, and now did they just shift because of the money? You think it's the money.
I do. I really do.
And I tend to don't care. Unfortunately, I don't because I don't like NL. I'm going to continue to swim upstream. I'm the old guy on the call here. And the good part is we got old guys watching it, meaning my age, who are probably going to more agree with me than you because we're all about principle. We were taught principles. We were taught you get up and go to work. Even if you don't like the job or the person you're working for, you still get up and go to work.
Yeah.
I didn't miss school. I didn't miss a day of school, Craig, till I was in the 4th grade. You know why I missed that school? I was so mad. I got the mumps. I was so mad. I had a perfect attendance all the way up to 4th grade. And that's the way we were taught. That's the way my parents were taught. My parents were raised, and they were raised by World War II survivors and Depression survivors. So we got the tough part. And then we gradually made it easier and easier and easier. And so now we have these problems like with Darryn Peterson. I'm not going to work. I'm getting $40 million anyway.
I mean, that's a good point, but there's got to be pushback. And I think the problem
Which
is
side?
From his agent.
Okay.
I think it's his agent and his parents more than anybody else, Again, he's making really good money right now. More money than I'll probably ever see in my life, Phil. After sponsorships and everything that they can't say.
I'll get you a picture of how much money does he make. We'll get a picture and show it to you.
Well, it's,
so you can see it at least.
Right.
How much is he getting paid?
It says $2 million confirmed. But, I mean, sponsorship deals, probably money from local businesses and local communities.
Who's
local
paying
donors.
him that money? Where's he getting that money from? Is it
University of Kansas?
So they just have a nonprofit slush fund that goes to the Kansas, and then they decide how much you get versus how much I get?
That's what I'm guessing, or
Is
it's
that the way
something that goes into the recruiting process.
Is that the way Avery's paid, or does he not have a specific sponsor like from Briggs or something?
Well, yeah, he's got a couple direct sponsors, but I couldn't tell you exactly where all of that comes from, and I think that's where the problem comes in at, Phil, and it goes back to Johnny Manziel. How is he getting paid? And nobody could ever point to one actual thing and say, look, this is how he was getting paid, but everybody knew he was getting paid.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the problem with college athletics, especially with them getting paid. Well, it says he's only getting $5 million, but there's probably people paying him under the table.
Or right in front of everybody because it's not illegal anymore.
Right. Regardless, Darryn Peterson is probably making more than $2 million. This next year, when he goes to the NBA and he's eventually a top 2 pick in the draft, he's going to be looking at $30 to $40 million.
Okay, let me throw it to you now. You're the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. You get the opportunity. He's still on the board to draft.
I'd take him in a heartbeat.
You would, even after he's been all this pain in the rear.
In a heartbeat.
Really?
And I'd pray that he finds a way to.
Well, what if that prayer doesn't come through because that's just not the guy? That's not the guy you're drafting. You're drafting a pain in the butt.
You draft for talent.
No, you don't.
Yes, you
do. You draft for cohesiveness on the team.
That is not true. Nobody
Absolutely
ever
the team.
drafts like that.
The ones that win do. The teams win.
Give me
Teams win
one
sports.
example of that happening.
Kansas City Chiefs when they won the Super Bowl back-to-back. That
And
was a team. I remember going and listening to Mitch Holthus give a speech, and he said, this team will win the Super Bowl back-to-back. They will win the second year because they came to training camp. They were all in shape, better than they were last year, and they said, we are going to win it again. And they did. They did. It was the attitude of the team. They were a team. Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback, but if nobody blocks for him, he's not going to be very good.
This is the same team that in training camp, if I remember correctly, either on that first or second Super Bowl of that eventual two-peat, Travis Kelce punched one of his teammates in spring training.
Probably because he was being a wimp.
Probably not.
Or
Probably
said something
because
about
there was an
Taylor.
ego problem.
Probably
There's
said
always
something about
ego
Taylor.
problems.
I bet the dude was saying, I don't like her song, and Travis popped him.
There's always ego problems on a team, and to me, that's what makes coaches great. Listen, we're going to get into it here in a second. Jerome Tang got fired.
Oh.
It's the greatest day ever.
Are you going to show a picture of Tang? I talked to Craig. Everybody, this guy did not know what Tang was. Tang drink. I had to tell him what Tang drink was. Make sure you put the graphic up there of Tang.
Yeah,
we all
I've never
remember
heard
Tang.
I've never heard of Tang.
He never had it.
No, and it can't be good. The packaging doesn't even look appealing.
Like I said, it's like a precursor to Gatorade.
Yeah. Okay. But the one thing Jerome Tang was great at, Phil,
Was dancing on the other guy's table.
well, I wouldn't say he was
Without a
even
shirt?
great at that.
Ooh,
I don't even
baby.
think he was great at that. He just kind of did it, and everyone was like, okay, I guess this is
Whatever.
This is what we're doing now.
He was good salesman.
Yeah. We knock off a 500 team, our coaches in the pep section, avoiding all the media, dancing with the fans. Regardless, he could manage personalities. Pat Riley, I think, does a better job
Okay,
of that.
maybe that's Self's problem. He doesn't know how to manage personalities.
I would say it is.
You might be right.
I would say to an extent it is.
Wasn't that the magic of the Bulls guy? What was his name when Jordan was there?
Oh, not Pat Riley.
Yeah, we can see him.
Yeah, triangle offense.
Yeah.
Was with the Lakers in the early 2000s. Man,
Yeah.
what's his name? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
If you know him, tell us. Send us an email or whatever you call it.
But what do you think? Is it managing personality more than anything? Or
I don't know.
He's just walking on top of everyone right now. He's saying, look, I am the best player in America. If you're going to make me play college basketball, I'm going to play college basketball because I can't just go directly from the high school to the NBA. I'm going to do it my way, though, and you don't have a choice about it.
Well, I really think that attitude's not going to pan out for him. But the worst part is, like you, he's going to get 40, 50, 60 million dollars. And if all things go the way most 18-year-olds that get 40, 50, 60 million dollars, he'll be living with what was the dude's name that the Raiders drafted, the quarterback? What was his name?
Are you talking about Jamarcus Russell?
He'll be living with that guy.
Yeah.
Going like, yeah, they were the good old days. $40 million ago. That was great.
It's a great way to put it. That really is. By the way,
I would rather have a guy with the grit like John Elway, who, even though he was ultra talented, he grinded it out. He got picked on. He was a little bit thought of as arrogant. I think the story's twisted to the point he wasn't as arrogant as everybody thought he was. His dad didn't want him to go play for that guy because he knew that guy wasn't going to be a very good mentor to John.
Right.
And then John had to gut it out. And, have you ever watched that video, TV on ESPN about
the documentary about him?
Yeah.
No, I have not yet.
I tell you what, guys, if you haven't watched that on John Elway, and I am not a Denver Broncos fan in any way, shape, or form, but that's a great story about a great player, and it'll change your opinion. And they actually tie it back, and I kind of agree. Nobody really cared about Denver, Colorado as a city till John Elway.
Yeah.
So he gritted out, and that's the kind of guy I like. The tough guys, the guys that get beat up and still go back into the huddle. I can remember one time, Craig, I don't remember who we were playing, but I carried the ball. Our running back was hurt, so I got to be the fill-in running back, which I played in the backfield anyway, but now I got to play the feature back, and I wasn't a feature back. If you notice, I'm not that big. So anyway, I'm carrying the ball and coming back from the huddle. One of the guys on the other team, he says, let's make sure and get number 10 out of the game. I was number 10. And I turned around and said, good luck with that. So the next play, I come back to the huddle, and I'm like this. Don't give me the ball, Jeff. Don't give me the ball. I can't breathe. So don't be a smart aleck.
I mean, you're right. There is toughness that needs to go into it. But, you look at basketball and you think, what about Kobe Bryant? What about Michael Jordan?
Tough guy.
And Michael Jordan. But I think it's just today's age. And I think this is, sadly, Darryn Peterson is going to be the start of
the beginning of the end is what I would say.
Right.
Meaning
it's going to become a lot more normalized.
Our interest level is going to decrease. We had a little bit of a conversation about Major League Baseball, and I think that's part of Major League Baseball's problem is we don't care. We don't care. These guys go up there wearing armored suits to the plate, and then they complain about the guy throwing inside. It's like, no, back in the day, they used to throw at you on purpose.
Right.
You knew they were going to throw at you.
Well, it's the same thing with the defenseless receiver in the NFL. Some of those hits would put you probably in Leavenworth prison today.
You ever been to Leavenworth?
I have.
Me too. I mean,
nice
to the
place.
jail?
Oh, not to the jail, no.
Yeah, to the prison? No. Yeah, I've been there. I've been inside.
What'd you do?
I was visiting.
Yeah, okay.
Undisclosed person.
Okay.
That was a weird trip in. I went there twice.
I mean, it looks weird from the outside. I mean,
I tell you what,
crazy.
I didn't like going. And I couldn't wait to leave.
I don't blame you. You see it from the outside, though, and it looks like this mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not.
No,
sadly, not.
It was not. Didn't feel like a mansion. Let's put it that way.
They held Michael Vick for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. He had something to do with gambling?
No. Close. Close.
I think they were gambling.
Well, they were probably gambling on which dog would win.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a little different
Yeah.
than what we normally talk about. All right, what else you got? So Jerome Tang, is he going to win the lawsuit or is he going to get his money?
That's seriously the best thing that could have happened for that guy is them saying, look, we're going to try to fire you for fault. And sayonara.
Now he's got a high-priced attorney. Where's this guy from? The attorney, do you know?
No idea.
Didn't he have some kind of reputation? He defended somebody in some lawsuit?
Yeah, he's defended a couple other big names. But the thing that I love is immediately after getting Jerome Tang, he said, look, I'm talking to the athletic director and I'm talking to the president of Kansas State. You guys want to say that you fired him for cause, which was that press conference he held where he held the players accountable. He said, look, you didn't play good, and a lot of people don't deserve to be wearing this jersey. In fact, the last game before he got fired, Phil, they stripped the last names off of everyone's jersey. I don't know if you saw that.
You told me. I don't think you should have names on your jerseys anyway. That's just me.
Okay, we'll get into that here in a second. But that's the reason that they're saying they fired him. And if you think that was embarrassing for the campus, just wait until we're going to dig up.
The lawyer's going to drag him through the mud.
Right. And that's what he should do.
So if you're a K-State supporter, give us your opinion on that. What should they do? What should K-State do?
It's childish.
Pay him to go away or just fight?
For K-State, it's childish. Pay the man what you owe him. You made a deal. Stick by it. I don't care. I understand trying to lower the buyout, but at the same time, you're going to look like a fool going on and saying, look, we fired our head coach for cause, and that, quote, cause was for trying to hold our players accountable?
Yeah.
That's a horrible argument.
In NIL world, yeah. So do you think Jerome Tang coaches again?
I do. I don't know if it's going to be a head coaching job straight out of the gate. He'll probably go back to an assistant coach, which he was at Baylor, and that's probably where he needs to stay.
I think he should go to the University of Texas and run that program in the ground, and maybe dual coach baseball or football and basketball.
Huh?
Run the whole. And if he wants to take on A&M, he can consult with them.
Yeah. You just want to see their programs ruined? Yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Yeah. And if I could come up with a few more teams that I could see him at. But I don't follow college basketball very closely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not into basketball.
You're not the only one that I've heard say that, and ever since, because NIL and the transfer portal has ruined college basketball a lot more than it has football.
I think you're right. And I think it's because, well, what do you think it's right? Why do you think it is? And I'll tell you my opinion when you tell me yours.
I'll tell you what, the two Kansas seniors that have gotten serious playing time this year have played for either 4 teams or 3 teams
in
their college career.
No loyalty.
There's no loyalty.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different team every single year, and then you're going to get these superstars, these one-and-dones, and you know they're one-and-dones. But then, again, you get the guys like Darryn Peterson that are like, pay me however much you can pay me, which is always going to be a lot because of how talented they are. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to half-ass it. I'm going to do the walkthrough, and I'm going to go to the NBA, and I'm going to be a superstar.
And I don't like the NBA because they don't play defense. They don't really play team offense. They just play, give me the ball, psh, shoot. And that's what college basketball is becoming. Back in the good old days when college basketball, for instance, I'm going to use Larry Brown and Roy Williams and the beginning of Bill Self. They had a team concept, and they recruited players to fit the positions in the team that they needed help with. So and we were talking about Jacques Vaughn a couple days ago. He wasn't a prolific scorer, but everybody else scored a lot of points because of him, because he made things happen on the court and got people open, or people were able to get open. He could shoot the ball, but he wasn't on the team because of his shooting. He was on the team because of his leadership and his ability to get make other people play better.
Yeah.
And that concept's gone. Because it's give me the ball so I can look good. I want to be on the highlights so I can up my draft, justify my $4 million, whatever it is. And that's why I don't like NBA. It's the same game. Yeah, there's fun highlights in the game, but it just and I'm a little more defensive minded too. I love defense in football. I love defense in basketball. I love defense in baseball. It's part of the strategy. If not, take it out.
Yeah.
Just make every baseball game a home run derby.
Right. Yeah. And nobody will want to see that.
Yeah. But that's kind of what it's become. In baseball, it's not about pitching anymore. Why don't they just get guys that lob the ball up there and let them blast it out and see, okay, you didn't get a home run, so it's an out. If it's not a home run, it's an out. And that's kind of what baseball has become. Basketball is getting into that same problem. If you can't make 43s in a game, you're not going to win. Well, guess what? 43s in a game, or at least taking 40 shots from the three-point range, to me it's boring. It's boring. I'd rather see a backdoor layup and dribble to the hoop and get the point. I'd rather see that kind of basketball.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'd rather see steals.
Bill, it's just the game has evolved so much, and I get it. There's always been that talk of the NBA and saying, hey, these guys don't play any defense. But have you just ever thought they might be that good? I mean, this is the top percentile of basketball players in the entire world. Yeah, baseball is becoming a more highlight-driven sport, but you've got to remember there are closers out there like Aroldis Chapman and Mason Miller that are throwing the ball 104 miles an hour. Athletes are constantly evolving, and this is something we talked about. They make it look easy.
Sure.
It's not easy to sit there and shoot 50% from three, but Curry makes it look like it's bread and butter. I get that, but he's the exception to that, what I was saying. Everybody's trying to be like Curry and hit 20, 30 threes in a game, and so then all you have is rebound or bring it in out of bounds after the score, go down the court, and three. Mm-hmm. Rebound, go down the court, three, or an attempt to three. And it's like it's boring. It's boring. I remember the days when Kansas used to do the fast break under Roy Williams. If you scored, he was going to punish you and push the ball up the court and get it in. And at the end of the game, the strategy part and parcel was, we're going to wear this other team down. Yeah.
Nolan Richardson's 40 minutes of hell. He was going to wear you out. And that was the strategy. In wrestling, that was Dan Gable's strategy. I'm going to wear you out. I'm going to beat you up for 2 minutes or 2 periods, and then I'm going to score on you. That was Oklahoma State's strategy under John Smith. John Smith was such a prolific athlete. There were people that said when he was 40 years old, he could still probably win the Olympics. That's how good he was. That's how conditioned he was. And I remember the stories, and you can look it up. But the Iranian said, John Smith will not take me down with the low single. That was his move. Smith didn't care. In the medal round, he took him down 5 times with the low single. He said, okay.
That's just being flat out better.
But he worked at it. And that's the point is you talked about Kobe and you talked about Michael Jordan and you talked about all those guys. They worked hard at the game. They made it look easy because of all the work that they put in. Mm-hmm. And that's what we don't see, whether it's sports, whether it's being a scientist, being a doctor, being a on-air personality for radio, being whatever your career, if you're the best at it, it's because you've worked the hardest.
I agree.
You put in the time.
I agree. But some guys are never naturally talented.
There's a difference between naturally talented. And I think that's where this Peterson guy, well, back to that deal, he's naturally talented, but it appears his work ethic is not the same as his talent level.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's attitude, and that's going to be hard chemistry to balance on a team.
I think you're right. I do. But I don't want to call out his work ethic when,
I said it appears.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You'll never know what the guy's doing. Maybe he's sitting out of games because he's going to getting, 500 shots up after. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know, I think, from my perspective, he's causing a problem that's greater than the solution he provides. So it's, think about a balancing beam, or not a balancing beam, but a teeter-totter. If your plus outweighs your minus, then we keep you.
Yeah.
But as soon as your minus outweighs your plus, we get rid of you.
Yeah.
That's just the way I look at it in our business.
Yeah. Well, Phil, there's, on that topic, I'm going to leave you with one more thing, and then we're going to get into some horse racing. Shame on the commissioners of these pro sport leagues. Because the first thing that everyone wants to talk about is highlights. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing. You go on the internet, you look up, highlights of the KU game last night. And that's all anybody wants to talk about. So they're seeing, hey, baseball, we need more home runs. Let's bring the fence in closer. Let's use juiced balls. Let's make baseball a high-scoring game. The NBA, no defense. Mm-hmm. Let's make it 120 to 110 every night. In the NFL, it's catered towards the offense.
You're
Can't
right.
hit the quarterback anymore.
You're right.
Everything's in defensive pass interference.
You're right.
To the point where, Adam Silver even came out and said, maybe we should stop having a TV deal and just make everything, it's a highlight-based league in the NBA. So let's just make it a complete highlight game.
To go to your point, the USA or NFL Network. Have you ever watched Red Zone?
Yeah, of course.
How many other people watch it and prefer it? I prefer it.
Man, it's just crazy to me.
It is. I looked this up, strange reason, but the same school has the NCAA D1 FBS record. So you got to distinguish FBS from D2 and all the other different levels of competition. So FBS D1 record for rushing in a game and record for passing yards in a game. Rushing yards, passing yards. Same school holds both records.
This is the part where I guess? Is it a military school?
Nope.
No. Is it an Ivy League school? I got no idea.
I would call it a school. Not the players, not the coaches, but the administration. I would call them traitors.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
And then now, before I tell you which school, what do you think, which record's bigger, more rushing yards or more passing yards?
Passing yards for sure.
Doesn't that make sense? But it's not.
It's not?
More rushing yards than passing.
Really?
Yeah. Oklahoma.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And guess who they beat guess who they played when they ran up the most yards in a game?
Man, who?
K-State. And Jerome Tang was not the football coach. But they scored 10 touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns.
That's ridiculous.
And I believe the rushing yards was 768, as I remember, but I could be off a little bit. I could have the number superimposed. 768 or 786. 10 rushing touchdowns.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it?
I don't think it counts, but there's a famous story. I'm getting sidetracked here for a second. You ever hear the Cumberland versus Georgia Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a gazillion yards.
222-0.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm anti-Oklahoma is because them and Texas left the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas should never have been invited into the Big 12.
No.
They shouldn't have. And if the Big 10 would have circled the wagons and done it right, they would have said, Texas, you got to go.
Yeah.
We're going to get back Nebraska. We're going to keep Missouri. We're going to keep Colorado. And we just need one more school in order to make it work.
I like what the Big 12's doing now.
Hey, Arkansas, we'd like to have you, and we're getting rid of Texas. Hey, Texas A&M, we're going to get rid of the Longhorns and let them go their way. And it would have just been so much better. But then Oklahoma came out and said, if Texas goes, we go. And Oklahoma State, I believe, said the same thing. If Oklahoma goes, we go. Oklahoma State didn't go. I think 100% of the reason was they weren't invited.
Yeah, I think you're right. I would take
I think
a shot
100%
that
of
you're
the
right.
reason why Oklahoma State didn't lead the Big 12 is because they weren't invited anywhere else.
Mm-hmm. And the SEC is like a nightclub. You know, you can only get in if you know select people.
Ooh,
That's
you
what
got
I
to know the
think.
bouncer.
You got to know the bouncer, 100%.
Wow, that's a
And
good concept.
you've got to have this presence about you. You know what I mean? You've got to have been successful in the last couple, I would say 10 years, 15 years. What do you think?
Say that again?
I would say you have to, in order to join the SEC, you would have had to been successful in the last 10 years.
Okay, explain Kentucky. Explain South Carolina.
Yeah, but when did they join?
Well, they've been charter members, I would guess. But, how about Vanderbilt? They've only had success recently.
Yeah, but from here on out, anybody that wants to join the SEC, they're never going to invite in Oklahoma State because Oklahoma State hasn't had that much success.
Outside of wrestling and baseball.
Right, but they don't care. It's all football.
Yeah.
Football.
It's football, basketball.
Yeah.
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 Another thing, and we didn't say we were going to talk about this, but the Big 12 had said we're a basketball league. And they have become a basketball league to the point almost second fiddle is football.
We talked about it once, me and you on our own, saying, look, if you know that you can't get a football or a basketball or a power sport to come somewhere to a big city, why not go after a smaller sport and have the NCAA come in and you be the home of tennis, be the home of golf somewhere? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what the Big 12 did. They said, look, the SEC has football, whatever. I don't think they do, but that's besides the point. Yeah. So they went out, they captured basketball, and they built a powerhouse of a conference surrounding around basketball. BYU is a powerhouse. Arizona is a powerhouse. Kansas is a powerhouse. Cincinnati's been up and down. But it's fun. And they are in basketball what the SEC thinks they are in football. They do a better job of it.
Hard to argue that this year. I'm not saying it'll continue, but it is hard to argue that this year. I don't think of BYU as a Big 12 school. Not because they're not because I'm anti, just because it's such a concept of newness.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still hard to look at.
So when you say Colorado, even when Colorado was in the Pac-12, I didn't think of them as being in the Pac-12. I thought of them as being in the Big 12. I don't think of Arizona and Arizona State being in the Big 12.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. And
I'm glad they are.
I think the Big 12 is doing things right, but at what point do we just go from two conferences?
Yeah. Or we're all independent.
Yeah.
Let Phil and Cray figure out who you're going to play.
Right. I like that.
We'll run the schedule through our numbers and go like, hey, we're not. Oh, who plays this weekend? We're not sure yet. Well, it's Wednesday. We'll get there.
We're pulling names at 5 p.m. tonight.
Be
ready for it. Yeah.
And we'll get your and Stacy's going to make your flight arrangements.
Right, exactly. And trust me, nothing could go wrong between those 3 days.
I think we'd be fine.
Oh, yeah.
We'd be fine.
Definitely.
All right, what else you want to talk about?
Well, this is your thing. You love horse racing.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned more about horse racing than I ever have just sitting in your office talking. I know there's some big races coming up. What can you tell me about them?
Well, everything leads up to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And here's the weird part about horse races. The Kentucky Derby is the high water mark. But everything builds up to the high. I mean, it's like a point. It's it's not a rounded. It's a choom and then choom. After the Kentucky Derby, 3 weeks later they run the Preakness, and then after that, 2 weeks later they run the Belmont. And you know how I memorized that, by the way?
No.
Backwards alphabet. P comes after B, so B's last in the horse race order. So anyway, and I think the Belmont's going to be back up. I think it's going to be back up at the original racetrack this year because the Belmont for the last 2 years has been under reconstruction where they run. Because normally it's 1.16 miles, 1.25 miles, and 1.5 miles.
Okay.
Progressively gets longer. Or maybe it's 1.8 miles. Sorry. Kentucky Derby is 1.8 miles, then 1.25 miles, and then 1.5 miles. But the last 2 years, the Belmont, the last race has been 1.25 miles because they haven't been running at Belmont. They've been running at Aqueduct, which is a different track, and it's not 1.5 miles. And the reason that's important to us horse racing aficionados, not to be confused with other like a wine or a whiskey or a bourbon.
Connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but this is an aficionado story. Anyway, the horse progressively has to run further in each race, and so it becomes harder to win. And the last race, the Belmont, is called the Heart of a Champion. The race is longer, 1.5 miles.
Right.
And the greatest horse ever was Secretariat, and he won all three, Triple Crown. And I think that's what's beautiful about horse racing is to win the Triple Crown, you have to be a special horse.
Yeah.
You have to, and have luck on your side in addition to be a special horse, because it does get progressively longer. And because through the season, they'll race like roughly every 90 days. Roughly.
Okay.
But when they get to the Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and the Belmont, it's, again, the first Saturday in May is the Kentucky Derby. Then 3 weeks later, they run the Preakness, and then 2 weeks after that, the Belmont.
Yeah.
I think it's 3 weeks before the Kentucky Derby is the Arkansas Derby, which is in Hot Springs, Arkansas. My dad used to live in Hot Springs. He was a horse track. He loved it. So that's where it came from, is associating it back to my dad.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
So the Kentucky Derby starts in March. It's like opening in March, is it not? When does it start?
What do you mean start?
Like that's when it happens. That's the event.
No, first Saturday in May.
First Saturday, May.
Yeah,
okay.
So we're still, 65-ish days away.
Okay, so why is that the most well-known one? Everybody always wants to talk about the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
It doesn't pay out the best.
Nope.
Is it the celebrity star power that's always there in attendance? What makes it the Kentucky Derby?
Well, the celebrity star power goes there because of the, quote, Kentucky Derby is that it's the first big race.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that it's the off season for football, basketball, hockey they're in playoff mode.
NBA's in playoff mode usually.
Playoff and hockey are in playoff mode. College basketball's over. The draft is over. The Masters is over. And so I think it just became, we got to plug it in here in order to get eyeballs.
Insert until start of Major League Baseball.
On TV. And baseball's just kicked in 60 days into the season. 30 days into the season. So we're not paying attention as much to baseball since it's such a long season. So I think that's how it got. I haven't researched it. So if you have, let me know. Just say, hey, Phil, I found this article on the internet. And I'll go, the what? Net? But so this weekend there are several graded stakes races. There was a couple of good ones last week, and then there'll continue to be a couple more. So then you get at Oaklawn, the Arkansas Derby is a feeder race. You get points for the Kentucky Derby, and again, it's 3 weeks before, maybe 5. I might be wrong. No, it's the first weekend in April.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's roughly 4 weeks, five weeks away. Then you've got the Santa Anita Derby, which is out in California. You've got the, I think it's the Florida Derby. I think that's what it's called, but it's at Gulfstream Park. Another one in Louisiana. So and Aqueduct's got a big race. So there's about 6 or 7 tracks that are the big tracks, and they all have a stakes race. There's a couple of stakes races this weekend. So here's the question for those novices. You might be one of them. What's the difference between a stakes race and just a regular race? And
prize pool?
It's a better horse. Horse. What's amazing right now, okay, I mentioned Secretariat. He's by far the best horse. He still has the record for all 3 of the big races. And not even close on the Belmont, not even close. You should watch the highlights. Anybody watching, if you've not watched, you can just Google it. Secretariat in the Belmont.
Oh, everybody's seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just pulls away from everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it's an amazing performance of an animal creature that appears to know what he's doing. It really appears that he knew he was on stage for the last time.
Well, wasn't it everybody in the Belmont last year? Every horse had Secretariat's genetics.
All through the 3 races, all through them. And that's what I was going to say is Secretariat's bloodline has resurfaced. And not that it was gone, but I mean resurfaced in a very, very visible way. Like you just said, all the bloodlines from last year's Kentucky Derby, 21 horses in the Kentucky Derby. 21 horses all had Secretariat's bloodline.
So what made Secretariat so great is everywhere I've read, it's talking about how big his heart was.
Yeah.
2 times the normal size of a regular heart horse. Is that what did it?
Apparently.
That's all it takes.
Apparently.
Yeah.
I skipped out of those veterinarian classes when I was at Fort Hays.
Yeah. You know, how often did you show up for class at Fort Hays?
Oh, I went all the time.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I had to.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't stay eligible. I had to stay eligible.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, except for that first semester, I didn't stay eligible that first semester. I had to go to K-State intercession.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to get 3 credit hours to be eligible to wrestle the second semester. So I took ballet, and I remember I said I could still do a demi-plie.
Yeah.
Maybe next week I'll do a demi-plie on camera.
That's crazy. I can't imagine you in a ballet class.
I thought you were getting ready to say a ballet dress, and I was like, no, I'm never doing that.
Phil, I'm going to go off on another tangent here for a second, but it amazes me the amount of college classes that are college classes.
Oh, no doubt.
They call it a college class. You know, I twin sister told me when she was at K-State, she got a credit hour for doing yoga. Yoga! And that's what they're paying money to do? Oh, yeah, don't worry, Dad. I'm going to go get my education. I'm going to fill up my days with yoga and ballet.
So let me back up and say I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. And here's why. It comes under the hyper health and physical education, or health, physical education, and recreation. I think that's what HYPER's acronym stands for. And so you have hyper classes. You're supposed to get a certain number based on every degree, a few here, a few there. And the idea is to teach you how to stay active and be physically, mental follows physical. So I don't think it was terrible to take ballet. I wasn't interested in becoming a ballet person, but I could see where someone would go, hey, that was kind of fun. Like your sister, I took yoga. Okay, now I can do this. I know a little bit more about yoga. So I don't think it's terrible. But there are a bunch of classes that are wasted part of your
curriculum.
Necessary curriculums in order to qualify to get a degree. And I do think if you are watching and you're a college administrator and you hate me for this, okay, we can debate it. But I think there are a lot of unnecessary classes to go towards your major that are simply there to pad the price of going to college.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And, I hate to say this, but I couldn't imagine being a teacher at a college. Imagine, first off, the state that colleges are in right now with ChatGPT and with all these AI tools doing the homework for the students. What really are they learning? And first off, that's a horrible sign, because imagine 10 years from now when the doctors and surgeons that cheated their way through college go to do open heart surgery on you. That's probably not a great thing.
Yeah, I think you're right that there is a slippery slope.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How about high school and middle school teachers? I think that'd be one of the hardest jobs.
Oh, and I don't think they get paid nearly enough.
Oh, I bet that's the hardest job. And again, it's back to that. It's back to what we were talking about with Coach Self having to manage personalities. Now the teachers, the state of Kansas just made it that you can't bring. I don't know when the law takes effect, but you can't take. Students won't be able to take phones into class.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not hear about that.
Just passed this week.
That's crazy.
Made the national news.
That's crazy to me. I don't see how that helps. To me, it goes back to, being a coach. If you're a teacher, you should be able to manage that.
Well, here's what I would say. And again, I'm not against teachers. I think they got the hardest job in the world. But when I can go to YouTube and learn more than what I did learn in class, it's not the teacher's fault. It's the process of how we're setting up school and putting the priorities of what we should be learning in school. Reading, writing, arithmetic. How come we don't learn how to do our taxes in school?
It's a great question.
How come we don't learn how to do first aid in our school? Some people do, but that's like an extra school, right? It's extra volunteer at 5:00. You learn how to do CPR. The things that life is going to be throwing at you, why don't you learn? When I was in school, Craig, we had driver's ed in the summer.
Yeah, we did too.
The teachers taught you how to drive, but I hear that they don't do that in every school anymore.
No, I think you're right. I think they don't do it in every school.
And so we're not teaching applicable coursework for life. And we see it on the internet with all these other things that they're substituting in about social issues. Come on. Mom and dad need to be teaching social issues, not teachers. And that meaning that burden shouldn't be on the teacher. He or she's got a hard enough job keeping the class involved, keeping the class
entertained and
their attention. That's what I was trying to find. I mean, all the distractions. Again, think about this. I can't bring my phone into class anymore. What am I going to be thinking about?
My phone.
Wonder who's texting me. What am I missing?
Exactly.
What am I missing? What am I missing? And I'm all for it. I think it's a good policy. We'll see how it plays out. I'm sure the students don't like this idea.
Here's my thing is I don't think it's going to be something that's enforced. I really don't. Because if you're a teacher, at a big school, imagine right here in Dodge City, one of the biggest 6A schools in all of Kansas, one of the biggest schools in all of Kansas.
Mm-hmm. Highest enrollment.
If you're a teacher, how do you stop them from bringing their phone in?
And that's the other problem with teachers. They become what I would call police officers. I'm trying to think of the word, de facto police officers.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. That's not their job. Their job is to teach math or English or whatever, science. Not. So it just really, boy, what an extra load on those teachers.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's crazy. But Phil, we've got about 10 minutes here left. Is there anything you want to bring up, or do you want to call it right here?
I was going to talk about something. We'd mentioned things about like our pet peeves. Mm-hmm. We said, we got to get off sports a little bit and talk about things other than sports. Guy topics. And we did talk a little bit about teaching, and we talked about, maybe family a little bit in terms of I'm older, you're younger, so I'm using my age to say, well, in the old days, but I don't say it that way. But another thing, I walk.
Yeah.
Okay, I walk. I'm amazed at the crap I find on the ground, and I'm hurt by all the trash. There's so much trash. I was in Garden City last week, and there's a field across from a store. You should see the number of plastic bags in this field that are just discarded in some way or fashion, and nobody goes and picks them up. And it's like, we need to care about our country more. Because to me, when you're trash, when you just throw stuff out the window, you're not caring about your country. You're not caring about your city. And you know what every car needs? You know what every car has to have in order to go?
Gas.
You know what is at every gas station?
A trash can.
Yeah, throw your trash out in when you're getting gas.
Yeah.
Or put a trash can in your car and throw it out in the trash can when you're getting gas. I mean, let's just be smart and not, I don't know what the word is, abuse our country, because it's been proven, Craig, if you have a place that's got graffiti and trash all over the place, you know what you're going to do? More likely, throw your stuff out.
Right.
If you got a place that's clean and doesn't have that look, you're not going to throw it out. So that's part of the deal. That's discipline. That's being more disciplined. So, and then I also said, because of that, I drive all the time.
Yeah.
Wild guess how many miles are on my car.
No, I know.
Okay.
I know. It's what? 470,000?
Higher.
480,000.
I'm 100 miles away from 480,000.
Wow.
And you and me drive
incredible.
the same make and model of a car. Same make and model. Different years.
Yeah.
Different year. It's a Ford Fusion. I drive a Ford Fusion 2012. Got the car in 2014 with 47,000 miles on it. Mm-hmm. So now it's got 400 and just shy of 480,000 miles. And people ask me, even that mechanics, when I take it in to get an oil change, they're like, what all have you had to do to this car? My gosh, how do you keep it going? And I say, I've changed the oil every time it tells me to change the oil. Mm-hmm. I've changed the transmission fluid every time it tells me to change the transmission fluid. I've replaced the battery, I want to say 4 times-ish. I don't know how many times I put tires on it. Can't remember. Had a water pump go out. Had my serpentine belt go out. And I think that's it.
You got your AC went out?
Oh, my AC went out. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's just I think that's just a fuse. I just got to look it up and figure it out.
I think you're right. I had that happen in so again, me and my sister, we shared a 2012 Ford Fusion.
Yeah.
Before I got that one. So I'm familiar with the car. Again, I think that is, first off, drives smooth. That is
Yeah.
my favorite car I've ever driven. It's nice, and I still like that I have to help you out with that car sometimes. I had to get your phone
Yeah,
set
you got
up
my
in
phone
there.
set up.
Yeah.
No, I was like, I can't get this set up. My kids, and you're like, well, I used to drive a Ford 2012. Let me set it up.
Yeah.
And you squared me away. I was like, oh, thank you for doing it. But it's a great car, and if Ford's out there watching anybody with Ford, thank you for building a great car. All the people, I believe the Ford Fusion is made in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I believe it is.
Did you know it is discontinued now? They are no longer making new models of Fusions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad.
Kind of hurts me. I know.
What are they going to do with the plant? Are they going to flip it over to a different?
I'm going to guess they're
They
going to
can
flip it over to a
pick
different
'em up?
model.
Something else?
Probably,
Well.
probably go more truck.
Yeah. Well, it's a great car, and all the people that make the cars and work on the assembly lines at the plants and do that hard work, and the engineers that design it, you did a good job on the Ford Fusion, the 2012, at least the one I made, or the one I drive.
Yeah. But I like the Ford. I really do. Those Fusions, no matter what year it is, they're great. They really are.
Great car. I've taken it to Tampa, Florida. I've taken it to Columbia, South Carolina. I've driven it to Santa Fe, New Mexico. Driven it, of course, back and forth to Dallas multiple times. Taken it all the way to Corpus Christi, down to the south. Taking it to Galveston, Texas. And of course, I could pretty much drive the entire state of Kansas, Craig. I don't need. People ask me, well, how do you get to name a place? And I'm like, oh, just take this road. They're like, how do you know that? I've been there.
So let me ask you, you were quick to bring up pet peeves. Does it bother you how many people now, my age, maybe a little older, maybe a little younger, rely so heavy on Google Maps and their phone to direct them where they're going?
Irritates me.
Really?
Irritates me.
But it's so accessible and it's so easy.
Well, what happens? I'll give you a great story. When we first moved to Dallas, all right, 2011. Yeah, 2011 when we first moved to Dallas. Christy, my wife, did not know how to go to the school where the boys went.
Uh-huh.
It was about a 30-minute drive, so it wasn't real close. But she did not know how to get there without GPS.
Really?
Didn't know how to get there. And I'm like, wow. Now, I just prefer to not be beholden on technology. I don't want it. Now, that's the old school. But I was also in the Army, and I learned how to read a map, a topographical map. So I can read, topography, if that's the right word. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. So I learned how to read a map, and we didn't have GPS. So you had to read a map and look at the terrain and be able to navigate. And there were some guys, Craig, that could navigate by the stars.
Man, that's incredible to me.
And I knew how to find north in North America, no matter what. No matter where I was, if the stars were shining, I knew how to find north. And once you find north, you got your bearings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, growing up, father as a truck driver, he kind of stressed it on us. Always know where you're going. And I don't mean to throw Emma under the bus here, but Phil, I can't imagine.
Throw Emma under the semi.
I don't understand how she got her license, how it hasn't been revoked. I was with her one time and she hit a gas pump, the yellow things to stop you from hitting the gas pumps.
Holy moly.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Sideswiped it.
Well, in my car, 480,000 miles on a Ford Fusion sounds like a lot of miles, but those semi trucks, they're going a million.
Yeah. But they're also getting a lot more work done constantly. Mm-hmm. After every single trip, those are getting tuned up, and for getting 500,000 miles out of a 2012 is incredible. It is.
Yeah.
Do you have something big planned for the big 500,000?
So, I originally wanted to get to 300,000.
Okay.
And my daughter's always pushing me, oh, when you get a new car, when you get a new car, Dad, when you get a new car, I'm going to go to 300,000. So when I hit 300, I didn't want to turn it in. I'm like, no, I'm going to go to 400. So when I got to 400, I'm like, I want to get to 5.
Okay.
So the last guy that I took to, because I had a problem with the oil pan, the oil pan plug got stripped. Well, when you get your oil changed as much as me, it's bound to happen.
You're right.
So I got to get the oil pan done. But anyway, the guy said, how many miles are you planning to put on this? I said, can you make it work to another 100? Can I get it to 600? What do you think?
Honestly, why not? Who would have guessed it made it this far?
Yeah. Well, and if Ford wants to drop one off here, if they just want to feel good about it. So if anybody out there knows a Ford person, I think it's called the Fairfax plant up in Kansas City is where they make these Ford Fusions, or at least, when's the last model year?
I'm pretty sure it's 23 was the last year.
My other pet peeve, and this is just the last pet peeve I'll tell, not for the day. It's you know what else I see walking around?
What's that?
The white plastic caps to
Water bottles.
Bottled water.
Yeah.
Throw them away, guys. Come on. Put them in the trash.
So be honest with me for a second. When you walk back to my office and you see how much of a mess it is, does that drive you nuts? Come on. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's that bad. We're going to have a picture of it next time. We're going to put a picture up next time, and you're going to tell me you agree with me.
Well, Phil, that's going to do for time right here on Sports Talk, and it became less about sports and more about talking.
Yeah, well.
But that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
We're
have a good
awesome.
weekend. Enjoy whatever you enjoy, and be safe.